And then of course we got a little blue back here in the background. But totally in love with... Hey friends, it is your friend in flowers, Lisa Mason Ziegler, and welcome to the Gardener's Workshop live gardening show. How about it, y'all? Status. I was just rambling on that I used to be a crummy status grower until I figured out it's a cool flower, y'all. It is such an easy grower to start from seed and to actually grow it up. And I just want to welcome all of you here today. Today is our soil blocking day. We're going to look at all the different size blockers. I'll be demonstrating the commercial Swift blockers as well as my standard hand tool soil blockers. Which ones do I use for which, right? We're going to take a look at some of our newest and returning products, as well as checking out what's blooming here on the farm. And as always, friends, I have a giveaway today. Remember, you have to be inside the app to participate, to sign up, to get on the list, and then I'll pull that right at the end of the show. Also, we have a live Q&A at the end of the show. So if you have a question you would like for me to answer, just put @Lisa and then put your question, and the team will gather we'll gather them all up and then pick a few for me to actually answer. So before we start, I want to just say thank you so much to everybody that shares about this show. We have so many new people each week, and I know it's because of you guys. So there is a share button down at the bottom of your screen. You can share and invite your friends and let them know that you're actually here. And did you know that we actually have 2 shows a week now? So we are live on Wednesday nights at 8 p.m. right here, same place, as well as on Fridays at 12 p.m. all at Eastern time. And I'd love for you to join us for both of them, right? So before we jump into our fun show today, a little bit of housekeeping. Please be certain that you check your email address and your cell phone number here inside the app, because if you use the Apple Hide My Email or the Google shielded email to actually log into the app to watch, it actually kind of hides your real email from us. So we can't send you tracking tickets when you place an order. So double check that and make sure there's no typos and that we can actually see it. So remember that here inside the app, seed packet only orders always should have free shipping. And standard product shipping is capped at $11.95, meaning it doesn't matter how many products you purchase, you just pay $11.95 once to actually have them shipped to you. And we love that we are able to ship to all 50 of the United States. Now, if you are joining us from social media, I'm so glad you found us. But what you need to know is that we have a phone app that just heightens your experience, right? And so you can head over to your phone's app store, search Gardener's Workshop, and download our shop app. It's free, and that way you can participate in the conversation as well as the giveaway. And you can also watch replays in there, shop 24/7, and we just absolutely love the comments that are going on. And you can swipe left or right if you're in the app and get rid of the comments if they're blocking your view of something. And friends, we typically sell out of stuff during the live show. So if you go to put something in your cart and it says out of stock, and it'll say underneath that, want to get notified. Getting notified just means if we happen to have more stock that we're bringing over from our big website, you'll get a little ding when that happens. So I recommend that you do that if you really want the product. And secondly, friends, if you're seeing people post the sunflower emoji, you can see it's here on my logo. Those are people identifying themselves as the TGW family. Those are folks that are our online course students, and we absolutely love it when you guys call out that you're a part of us, and we appreciate that so much. So this week, I am giving away another $25 store credit, y'all. One lucky winner, when they go to check out, they'll have a credit waiting for them. So hit the button now to get on the list, and we'll pull one lucky live viewer to be able to be on that list, and we'll have a winner. So we're going to start off always with my books, right? And so the Cut Flower Handbook is like the holy grail of my cut flower gardening books, right? This has everything you need to know, excuse me, about a cutting garden, how to start one. And it even has a full area, y'all, on seed starting. So I'm going to try to turn these pages. That's a picture of my sis watering our grow room that is just packed full of seedlings. Then they takes you through direct seeding, and then there's a whole section on soil blocking and how to get your seeds started, all the facts. And I would love to sign a book for you. It's $30, and I will sign all the books. And remember, you always get the bonus when you purchase from us, the PDF, the flowers that did not make the book. All right, so next up is my book, Vegetables Love Flowers. This is not about growing vegetables, y'all. This is about why vegetables love flowers and their presence and how to do it with a little cutting garden. So this book also comes with a free video book study when you purchase it through us. Would love to sign one for you. Beautiful photography. And this really is about my philosophy on how I garden and farm without using pesticides. And then, of course, friends, the book that started it all, Cool Flowers, right? This is the first bite. If you're not familiar with growing cool season hardy annuals and the cool flower concept, this is the starting point. Would love to sign one of these for you. And this book also comes with a free video book study when you purchase it through us. Just kind of like behind the scenes and some extra tidbits. So would love, these are just really great reference tools, and would love to sign one for you. Now, I am going to be doing some soil blocking demonstration. I'm going to do the commercial blockers and then the hand tools, but I want to show you some seedlings first, right? So first off, I want to show you these. This is a coxcomb. Let's see. This was started the 23rd. Today is May 2nd, so that is 7, 8, 9 days ago. I started these with my Flower Farmer Club group. This is some coxcomb that is 9 days old, and look how beautiful they are. And look, almost 100% germination. And this is 3 sets of 20 of the soil blocks, and they just really did great. And then look, this is the same size tray. This is lemon basil, which is like our secret weapon with our bouquets. Oh, y'all, it smells so good. So these guys are about 10 days away from being planted out in the garden. They're a little too young. They won't go outside for another few days. But this is 3 sets of the small blocker, the 20 cluster. Totally love that one. And then, when do you use a bigger blocker? Well, for us, I use the larger 2-inch block when I have a bigger seed. This is a squash plant, and this is 2 weeks old. And that's a big seed, right? So it won't fit in the small blocker. So totally love being able to start these guys. And these are actually going to the garden tomorrow. So that is the 2-inch blocker. And then I want to show you another way that we use the 2-inch blocker. We start our tomatoes. Here's our tomatoes transplants. Now they were started in the small blocks like these peppers were. This is 20 gorgeous pepper plants. Y'all look at that. And so I like to grow peppers and tomatoes bigger before we plant them in the garden. So I potted up these 3/4 inch size blocks into the 2-inch block that you just saw, and I'm going to show you all this. And look, these are my sun gold tomatoes. Aren't they beautiful? And these guys will grow for about another week before we actually plant them outside in the garden. So let's take a look of how to make the blocks, and we will just do the job here. So I'm going to do the commercial blockers first. I always wear gloves because I have to scoop the soil up with my hand. And we're going to make the 70, the Swift Blocker 75. This one actually makes 75 of the 9/10 of an inch size block at one time. And look how beautifully it fits in our extra large trays. You would think it was made for it, right? All right, so you use the same blocking mix. Can you pull the tray a little bit towards you, Suzanne? maybe aim it, there you go. So I'm just scooping up the same soil blocking mix that I'll use when we make use the hand tools in just a moment. And the blocking mix, what's unique about the blocking mix that we use is that it's living, which means it's not a sterile soil, and it's more than just having non-sterile soil. All the components work together, the biology and the ingredients, to not only grow amazing transplants, but it also helps them to retain moisture longer. It's a lot more than just the simplicity of what we think about, right? So if you're watching me, I'm trying to be kind of careful to load the Swift blocker without it oozing over the edges, because it's kind of hard to actually clean out that area. And I'm paying special attention to make sure I'm filling the ends and the side walls. And just by taking them all, and of course me talking to you guys kind of slows me down a little bit. But what I typically do, so this is the scraper cedar for the Swift blocker. And you can see I'm just scraping off the excess. And I still recommend that you always sift seed starting mix. Just because the little sticks that are in there can definitely cause a problem. All right, so we're gonna do something today. I haven't done it in a while. I'm actually gonna show you how we sow the seeds in this particular blocker before we push them out, y'all, so it really sets you up for success. What did I do with that little tube, Suzanne? Where did it go?
Right in front of you.
Okay. All right, so I'm gonna need those again when I do the bigger one. So, I am gonna sow celosia in this tray. Celosia is surface sown, meaning it needs light, but it needs to be firmly seeded. And because these are coated, if you can see those, they're little yellow pellets, all I have to do is drop them onto the top of the block. So I am literally just dropping one on the top of each block, and I'm actually not doing a very good job of just getting one because I'm feeling rushed. And so I am just dropping the blocks, the seed right on the top of the block. And instead of me doing the whole toothpick thing, which you'll see me do when I'm sowing, I am gonna need a toothpick, sister. So there is definitely validation to using the toothpick, y'all. I'm learning it right here live with you guys because I had never done this before. I've been told about it. So I'm just dropping one seed on the surface. And then on the occasion that you drop more than one seed, because there's no reason to waste seed, y'all. You don't need more than one seed because we know in soil blocking that we have a high rate of germination. So I'm just lifting those seeds up, and I'm not going to do this whole tray. All right, so I might as well do the rest of these though. So I'm dropping one, and I tell you the moral to this story is don't put so many seeds in your hand that you can't just pick up one at a time. That's the secret. All right, so let's just think we've sowed the entire seed, the entire tray. This is the top tray, and I am just going to place it on top, and then we are literally just going to, I'm trying to make this so you guys can see it, but that's the wrong way. All right, so here we go. Literally, y'all, you just push and you won't believe it. Look at this. We just made 75 perfectly beautiful 9/10 of an inch blocks with the seeds sown in them. That's the Swift Blocker Mini 75, and I'll tell you more about that later. You can dump that right back in here if you want, sister. And so the other size Mini Swift Blocker, which is the other commercial tool, is the Mini 27, and this makes 27 of the 1.5 inch blocks. When do I use this? I use this for sweet peas, amobium, scabiosis, sunflowers, larger seeds, squash, right? So we're gonna do the same thing again. I'm just gonna load the tray, which is already in the tray that it's going to actually live in till it gets planted. And you'll immediately notice it takes a lot more soil to fill the larger block. And that's true whether you're using the hand tool or the Swift blocker. It just takes more soil, right? And the other thing that's kind of unique about blocking soil versus just regular seed starting mix, they're made to be really dense so that they grip and hold together, bind together, right? Because remember, the soil block is the container. That's what your plant is going to grow in when you plant it out into the garden. So I'm just trying to not make a mess because it's hard to clean that excess soil up when it falls down on the edges. And I'm just paying close attention to be sure that my ends and sides really get the adequate amount of soil. So what I would typically, especially if I was a home gardener that is wants more than the average, you could use this for sunflowers. If you're a market farmer, this is a great way to start, like sweet peas. All right, scraper. No, I'm not going to soak sunflowers. Thank you, though. So I'm scraping it clean. And y'all aren't going to believe it. Just this quick. Can you see? Unbelievable, right? And look at this. 27 1.5-inch blocks that they never go in a container, y'all. It's like super streamlining for starting seeds. And each year when you go to starting seeds again, all you add is, all right, I guess I should probably turn it this way. Now, let me demonstrate the way that until the Swift blockers came about, I guess it was like 3 years ago. This is the way that we start seeds, and we still primarily use the small blocker. And why is that? It's because this small blocker is more space savvy, and if you have a space problem like I do, then you want to get as much as you can out of your space. So this is the small 20 cluster of 3/4 inch, same blocking mix, and I just push it down in, and I do it a couple of times because I want to be sure that the blocks are really full, not packed, but firm. And this is one of our little mini 20s, one of our little mini trays, and this is what you saw the peppers on earlier. I just place the blocker on the tray and give it a squeeze. And there, y'all, we have just made 20 little containers. And so that is what we sow. Probably 90% of the seeds we start are in that small block that you just saw me made. Now, I want to show you how I make the large blocks, which is what I showed you the squash in, as well as you can pot up into like those peppers that are 3/4 inch, pot them up to a 2-inch blocker. So you'll see pretty quickly, this just takes a lot more soil. So it's also about space savviness, and I'll show you here in just a minute. So basically, 8 of these 2-inch blocks is going to fit on this tray versus, let's do this first. So you place your blocker on the tray and give it a squeeze, and this blocker has the inserts installed on it, so it makes a perfect little hole to receive, for instance, one of those small blocks with a pepper growing in it, or you could drop a big seed in there and then just drop a little plop of soil on top of it. But here's what I wanted to share with you. This is the same tray. This tray would hold 8 of these 2-inch blocks. If you use the 3/4 inch block, you could fit 60, 3 sets of 20. So it's all about space savviness. So that's how easy they are to actually make. All right, so they're whisking that away. So the deal of the day for this weekend is actually the Swift blocker blockers. We don't normally have them over here in the app shop because when you purchase them, normally, well, it does. It costs more to ship them. So we have capped the shipping on the Swift blockers at $11.95, which is a savings from $3 to $20, depending on where you live in the country. We're in Virginia, right? So there is that savings. So it is your opportunity to buy the blocker with reduced shipping to $11.95. But, you know, the Swift blockers are our commercial blocker, but I choose the blocker that fits the number of plants that I want and the size of the seed or the seedling that I actually want. So, all right, so sizes and this. So for me, I'm sorry, y'all, I'm just reading notes. The small blocker, are we on the products or are we still in talking points? Okay, so that small blocker and the 2-inch blocker, we import those from England, and we love using those, particularly if you're a home gardener or a small farmer starting out. But if you're a small farmer and you're soil blocking and loving it, that is definitely the opportunity to move up to the commercial blockers. And remember that when you buy your soil blockers from us, they are authentic, from England, made in England. They are not the counterfeits, which are out there with the same brand name on them, y'all. And the Swift blockers are made in the United States. So that's another really great bonus. So let's take a look at how they come. So first up, we have our Swift Blocker Mini 75 kit. Remember, capped shipping, y'all, right? So what comes in the kit? First off, you get that cedar scraper, and so you can actually use this cedar on the top of those trays, dump your seeds here, and just literally push them over into the hole. It's kind of like cross stitching, y'all. It's really a lot of fun. So in place of dropping them like I tried today, you could actually use this for the very same thing. It also includes the DIY nutrient mix, which is powder. You mix this with your compost and your peat moss at home and add this, and that makes the blocking mix. It comes with the Mini 75 blocker, which is what this is. And it comes, y'all, with 5 of these amazing trays that we actually import these from England also, the trays. So you get all of this, and it just makes 75 of the 0.9-inch blocks. And it's just a really quick way to make volume quicker, and especially for those seedlings that you feel like start getting kind of crowded really quick, maybe in the small block. This is a great replacement for that. We love doing our peppers in here, amobium, scabiosis, marigold, zinnias, anything that has that little bit larger seed will really, really do well. So that is the Swift Blocker Mini 75 kit. All right, and it comes with this. And then you can also purchase just the Mini 75 if you don't need the rest of that stuff. So this comes with the bottom and the top tray. And again, it is capped at $11.95 shipping. So that is the Mini 75, which is the step up from the 3/4-inch small blocker, right? And so you can purchase the scraper alone. And again, this will scrape both the Mini 75 and the Mini 27, but you can only seed in the Mini 75. I will tell you that I find this so much more useful than I thought I would, but it really helps you to move along quickly and be swifter. And remember that the shipping is capped on, doesn't matter how many different products you purchase, you just pay $11.95 shipping once. So that is the scraper. Now, we also have a kit for the Mini 27. Once again, it includes the nutrient mix, so you can make your own blocking mix at home. This has the Mini 27, and let me show this to you. I love this one, y'all. Look at that. It makes 27 of these 1.5-inch blocks, And it includes, y'all, 5 of our amazing trays that are super heavy duty, and you'll be using them forever and ever. That's the Mini 27. And what would we sow in this? Sunflowers on a small scale, sweet peas, sorrenthy, calendula. I do cuttings in this size, like salvia. And so this one can really, I feel like this is one that I really use a lot in our day-to-day. All right, what's up? Oh, number 1 favorite product that we have sold since we launched the Gardener's Workshop, y'all. And this is the Soil Block Maker Kit. Now, this kit is probably the most universal. This one includes the small blocker. This is 20 of the 3/4 inch blocks, right? And it comes with a bag of the ready-made mix, which we still recommend sifting this. It still has chunks, too big to go in these little blocks, right? So this has all the nutrients in it that you need. Sift it, make your blocks. And this will make like 600 of those little blocks, y'all. This little bag goes a really, really long way. So this kit comes with your choice of either 3 warm season seeds or 3 cool season seeds. You make that selection when you're actually checking it out. And it includes my Seed Starting Made Easy online course that takes you by the hand and helps you to from the beginning of seed starting indoors right up to growing them, hardening them off outside and planting them out in the garden, as well as direct sowing and sowing sunflowers in plug trays. So that is included, as well as 5 of our large trays that hold 3 sets of 20. It has our toothpick dispenser. It has the little plant ID tags, which I actually use for tools to handle my little soil blocks, and a seed pan, friend. You get all of this together so that you are totally set up to begin soil blocking. And that is definitely our number 1 customer favorite tool. All right, so now let's just say,
sorry, it's a large blocker now.
Yes, yeah. So let's just say you are already soil blocking and you're realizing there are some things you'd like to bump up, or you have big seeds. And that's when the 2-inch blocker comes in. Now it comes with all these little white nipples. And is this the set together? So it comes with this little white nipple that you can put in to make a dimple to receive a seed, but it also includes the inserts that make that perfect hole in the top of the soil blocker, right? So you can just drop one of those little 3/4 inch blocks right in there. Totally love that. So that is the soil block 2-inch and inserts. That includes both. Now, while I talk about this, my sis is going to actually demonstrate. So let's figure out how we're going to do it. This is the soil. You're going to have to.
I got it right here.
Okay. So this is our soil block maker set. So this, I'm sorry, soil block. Make your own soil. Make your own soil kit. And so what we're talking about is it comes with this sifter, which she's going to demonstrate. This is some of our ready-made mix. And you're going to see that there's just little chunks in there. And actually, those little chunks are home base to all the good microbes that are in this soil. So they are perfectly good to put into your pot mix or out into your garden. But we just don't want it in our seed starting mix. Yeah, so we can see that there's a lot of chunks in there. So this blocking mix kit includes the sifter, not the bucket. So let me show you what it has. So it comes with the sifter, right? It comes with the cocoa fiber. This is a replacement. Instead of using peat moss, you can use this. It has a bag of manure compost. And it, of course, comes with the DIY nutrient, which has the recipe right on the front. And this shows you how the cocoa fiber brick just swells up. This is what it looks like when you get it. You put it in water, and that's what it actually becomes. So you get all of these in. Oh, is this the deal of the day? I'm sorry.
Swift and this.
Okay, so we have 2 deal of the day. That's why I'm totally confused, y'all. Sorry. This is 20% off today. All right, so it's 20% off of the regular kit price, and the kit price has already got a little discount. So this is an incredible opportunity today. So you get all of this that you need, everything to make your own blocking mix at home, right? You're set, ready to roll. So that is the soil block, and that is available. Both of the deal of the days is available through Sunday at 8 a.m. Eastern time, or until they sell out, whichever happens. You don't need a code. It's priced as marked here inside the app. And again, it's just in the app. It's not on the big website. All right, so let's take a look at some of the pieces of soil blocking that you can purchase separately, right? So this is the trays that we most often use. These are foam. They're not intended to be disposable, y'all. We use these over and over again for several seasons. So this is the 5 1/4 by 5 1/4. A 5-pack or a 25-pack is available. And this is especially when I'm growing small numbers of stuff. This makes the most use out of your real estate, like on soil, seedling heat mat and under grow lights. This is the small tray. It holds either 2 sets of 20, which would be 40 of the small blocks, or 2 sets of 2-inch blocks, which would make for 8. So that comes in a 25, a 5 and a 25 pack. And then this is the large. This can hold 3 sets of 20, and it's available also in a 25 pack or a 5-pack, either one of those. And friends, I have to tell you, this is our waterproof garden marker. This one is intended to live out, the writing is intended to live outside in the elements, and truly it holds for over a season. We frequently use it with our masking tape, and we put tape on our trays, and this is the pen that we use all of the time. So you'll find that available. Of course, you won't find the masking tape, you'll just find the pen. But you can never have enough of these guys. Now, part of the rest of the story of seed starting, right, is about warming up the soil, particularly when we're talking about warm season tender annuals, which is all the things we looked at today, you know, celoseas and basil and sunflowers and zinnias and all those. They really need to have warm soil to sprout and germinate. And the best way to do that is with a seedling heat mat. So if your house is, let's just say it's 75 degrees, what we really don't realize is that 75 degrees is the air temperature. It's not the mass of soil. That mass of soil is like normally 15 to 20 degrees cooler than the air temperature, right? So if your house is, let's just say 70, that means that your soil temperature is 55 degrees. Do you know what temperature soil needs to be to actually germinate warm season seeds? 75 to 85 degrees. And that's why a seedling heat mat just comes in so handy. This actually warms up 15 to 20 degrees warmer than the air temperature, so it puts you right on point. I'm frequently asked, what do we feed our plants? My plants just seem to be so healthy and green and stocky. And Neptune's Harvest, the seaweed fish, is really a big part of it. So I use this in my watering can on Monday, meaning the can that I was going to water my seedlings with on Monday, I just add this in according to directions, which is 1 tablespoon to a gallon. I also use this for a soil drench out in the garden. I've done it as a foliar feed, which means you either spray it on the foliage or you can put it in a watering can with a sprinkler head and pour that on. And so this is the Neptune seaweed fish, and it is 1 pint, which is 18 ounces. And at 1 tablespoon per gallon, it lasts you a really good long time. Now, I don't know about you. Have you ever had fungus gnats? That's what those little dots are on this yellow sticky trap. Whenever we start, even having house plants, my brother's an orchid grower, and he fights fungus gnats all the time. So we have created the fungus gnat fighting set. And this includes the bits that you actually put in your watering can. I do this on Wednesdays, y'all. Put this in my watering can on Tuesdays when I'm finished watering. I fill it up, put these in, And the next morning when I water, this waters the soil and kills any developing larva in the actual soil. Then those yellow sticky traps, like I just showed you, capture the adults, and you can just lay them on your tray, next to your tray, or hang them. It includes both of these, and these are both available separately here inside the app if you don't need both of them. Something we use and frequently get asked, how can we make it at home, and that is compost tea. So this is compost tea bags, y'all, that you can actually steep. It looks just like a little tea bag. You can steep it overnight to use it the next day to add some biology to your, again, you know, we don't use sterile soil here, right? So this just helps to enrich the biology and the health of your soil. It's 1 tea bag per gallon of water. I let it sit overnight. If you add aeration to the process, that makes it richer, and you can let it sit for a little bit longer. So there are 12 bags in this bag, and really love it.
And I just use a milk carton that I wash out, a gallon, and put this in and let it sit and shake it up real good and water my indoor plants with this once a week.
Good idea. All right, so next up, oh my gosh, y'all. We so love this watering can. It frequently is not available. We have a hard time restocking. This holds 4 cups of water, or I think that's a quart. Yes, it is. It's stainless steel. It has a long stem, a long spout, which makes it super convenient for watering soil blocks. But also, guess what else you can water? Flower arrangements. You don't have to take the flowers out of the arrangement. You can actually push this in and water them. We absolutely love this long spout watering can. And this is a great one to have for a gift or for yourself. Now, if y'all have hung out with me for very long, you know that I am a big user of the biodegradable film. And so biodegradable film looks and works like plastic. However, it's made from a corn byproduct, and it is 100% compostable, meaning it can be turned into the soil. It can be covered with mulch to let it break down. It comes black on one side and a light color on the other side. So like now, currently, if we made beds from now on until fall, we make our beds with the white side up. And why? Because that cools the surface of the bed so it won't cook your seedlings. But in the fall and winter, when we make beds, we make it with the black sides up. So look how easy this is to pop a hole through. It is not like landscape fabric that people confuse it with, where you have to burn holes. This is super easy to plant through. Now this comes in 3 lengths. We have a 20-footer 1-pack. We have a 50-footer that comes in a 1-pack or a 6-pack. And we have a 100-foot that comes in a 1-pack or a 3-pack. And it actually is 48 inches wide, and you can use it up to a 36-inch wide bed. So that is the biodegradable film. Next up is our plant support netting. And this is also available in 2 different lengths. So this is plastic, and I'm trying to hold it straight, y'all, so you can see it. It has 6-inch blocks, and we use it as a planting grid, but mainly we use it for flower support. We suspend it above our flower beds. The flowers grow up through it, and then they do not go down in torrential rain. We have it they're both 36 inches wide, but you can get it in a 20-foot piece or a 50-foot piece, and this is what allows you to have amazing flowers even after a torrential downpour. And friends, I just used this yesterday, so you're going to hear about it today. I love this stuff. This is the insect netting. And why is this so different than row cover? That's the number one question that I get from people. It is more durable. This time of the year for heat, it does not trap heat. Its intended use is to cover hoops, just like you use row cover to cover a bed, using the hoops, and then you put your weight bags on it, and that blocks access to your plants by many insects. For instance, the cabbage lopper that gets on your broccoli and your cauliflower, right? It blocks them access so you don't get that pest. But what I love using it for, in addition to that, keeping out squirrels and rabbits, but also I use it to make a sun cap. And that's what I did yesterday. It was 90 degrees. The plants were going down that were just planted that morning. The video shows you how we do it. I use this, and why instead of row cover? It is so much easier to work with. It's more durable. I'm not afraid of it ripping, but more importantly, it doesn't trap the heat that row cover traps. So check that out. Now this comes, it's all 6.5 feet wide, the same width as row cover, and it's stretchy, y'all. It's like a pair of pantyhose. And it comes in 20 foot, 50 foot, and 100 foot pieces, and you will find so many uses for this. We are, every time I call up to the warehouse, I'm like, send me more insect netting. I'm finding more uses for it. Totally love this stuff. All right, so the other really useful thing that we use the insect netting for is it allowed me to create what's called a container protection kit. I don't know about you, but I have big containers. Frequent flyers is that the squirrels get up in it and root around and uproot my plants, right? And you come home and they're all laying on the concrete, dried up and dead. So what we did was I have taken, this is the kit. It includes the grow through, which this is it. It's a 12-inch grow through. It has legs. You push this to suspend the top over top of your container, so you can then put your insect netting over it. And then we use our flexi tie, which is also stretchy, like a belt around the top of the container, and it totally blocks the creatures until your plants get big enough to withstand it, right? So this is the container protection kit, and it includes 8 foot of the flexi tie, a 6 foot square piece of insect netting, and the actual grow through. Now, another thing that I'm feeling grateful for right now, because our containers are just getting started, y'all, these are the pot pads. They stick on the bottom of big containers, and they create a space on the bottom of your containers so you're not damaging your composite or your wood. It allows water to drain from the pot, and it makes it easy for you to slide the actual pot. For most big pots, it takes 4 of these, which is here. And we love these things, don't we, sister? We have sold these for so dadgum many years. And they're 2 inches in diameter and a 1/2 inch tall. So, sister, you want to tell us about these things?
Sure. So this is our giant scoop. Let's rearrange here since we're up close and personal. This is our giant scoop. We love this for potting containers. It just lets you pick up a lot of soil and be able to work it in around your container, because I find that difficult with a bigger, thicker scoop. So the giant scoop is a large capacity, slightly curved, handle, grip is nice, and you can use it in raised beds or potting containers, like I said, or just mixing soil. It's just, you know, if you have a hungry man, it might be good for that too. My brother, this would work great for our brother. Okay, next up we have our handy little scoop. So this is the perfect scoop to fill those little bird feeders, to put soil into a small pot or container. It just makes it the perfect little size to work on little things. So we love this. It holds about a cup, and it's made in England. It's very good quality. All right, next we have our composter. This is our kitchen composter. This is perfect to go under your kitchen sink. It has a nice tight seal. Does not have a filter like you may see some with filters. The thing is, if you're putting the right thing in your composter, you shouldn't need a filter. Should be nothing stinky in there. It's all scraps of greens and different vegetables that you're chopping up. We don't put banana peels in here. We don't put big rinds. Don't put any kind of meats or anything. You can chop up rinds really very, very fine, but you should be dumping this a couple of times a week, so it shouldn't be a problem. But also great to hold bird seed. There's just all kinds of different uses for this. And it's also made in England. It's just a very good quality. You'll have it forever.
All right.
All right, and then we have a giveaway, a reminder. If you have not already signed up for our $25 giveaway, hit the buy button now or get on the wait list. I'm not exactly sure what it says anymore, Kelly.
Buy.
Yeah, buy now. You're not buying anything. It's just going to put you in the list, and then they'll pick a winner at random at the end of the show, but you must be in the app to win, and you must be present.
Awesome. And then also, in case you joined late, remember that you can put questions in the comments. Put @Lisa, type your question, and the team will gather those up and then feed me a few of them. And so I'm going to show you some flowers now. And you know, I always talk to you about good seed storage to make your seeds last as long as possible. And we use, seeds should be kept cool and dry, right? And having desiccants in your seed storage helps to absorb any condensation, humidity. This in combination with cool will make your seeds last more than a season. So that is the story about seeds, because you know what I say? You always buy seeds when you meet the flower, and then you put it in the season that you need to start it. That way you don't forget about it. That's what happens to me. All right, so first up, oh my gosh, y'all, wait till you see these. These are the sweet peas that I actually cut last night, and I gifted somebody some of these yesterday, and they just could not believe, I'm telling you, I just wished y'all could smell them. It's like perfume. There's times they're sold as April in Paris, and that says it all, y'all. This is the high-scent sweet pea. I find it to be the most vigorous, the easiest to start from seed. It's just a good, true and tried variety, totally. And these, of course, were planted in the fall. These are the high-scent. And then the royal mix is starting to also bloom, and that's the solid colors. And so there's purple and white, and there's, here we go, there's some red hiding in there. They're just starting, but this has shrimp in it. This is so beautiful. I've grown hyacinth and royal mix for 25 years. Totally love these guys. Now, look at this. Status, how beautiful, right? Status is a cool season hardy annual. These were fall planted as transplants. And look at this apricot mix. Really, really beautiful. And you know, that's beautiful fresh, and it is beautiful dried. And so these are just starting, and I just wanted to show them to y'all. These, oh look, we're broke. I'll hold it up there so it can be pretty. These are white. This is Status, y'all. And you know, I love using white Status fresh, because who does not need more white flowers in the spring, right? So that is a really great one. And then Status is so underused in bouquets fresh. Y'all, look at this. This is the Seeker Blue. I mean, a stick of this in every bouquet you make for as long as you can get it is amazing. And the stem length is wonderful. Really, really love Status. And look, it's our first green dragon. This is a cress. Nice height. And you wait until the blooms pass and it starts to develop these little seed pods. I could have actually left this a little bit longer. See how this middle one has these little seed pods? People will not know what this is when you put it in their bouquet. Totally love that. This corn cockle, I think this is the last week for this one. This is the corn cockle mix. This was direct sown out in the fall, and it's like the Cosmo of spring, y'all. Really love corn cockle. Then we have Orlea. How pretty are these? And notice that these have bigger petals around the edge than like any of the Amis do, and they bloom for us earlier than the Amis do. Really love this one, and those were direct sown in the fall. And then look, this is annual baby's breath. This is not like the baby's breath most people are used to. These are little open-faced flowers, y'all. Incredible stem length. I bet I cut 10 inches off of these. This is just such great, pretty filler. And again, this was fall planted. And one of my favorites from last year, and that is Amobium. This is like a cross between feverfew and straw flowers. It's smaller and it's the color of feverfew, but it's papery. It dries beautifully. It's a great bouquet filler. We love those guys. And then I have a few Sweet Williams. First, I want to show you, this is the Sweet Black Cherry. And I've been getting so many questions this week about how do you strip Sweet William. The leaves do not come off easy, y'all. This literally is how I do it. I mean, I grab each individual leaf and just typically strip the bottom 6 inches. Sweet William really hydrates well, and I mean, literally you could leave a pile cut out in the field and find it the next morning and they don't look much different. So you don't have to worry about that. So literally that is how I strip Sweet William. And that was the black cherry, which is super pretty. And then look at this. This is the coral. This is a great color too. Sweet is the first to bloom here on our farm. All right, friends, it is time to wrap up. And remember to stick around for the Q&A at the very end. And I want to remind everybody that remember that over at thegardenersworkshop.com is our website, which is a big educational platform. There's tons of videos, blogs. You can connect with our podcast, both of them. We have Field and Garden, which I host, and then we have Seed Talk with Lisa and Lane, and you'll find both of those over there, as well as on your favorite podcast listening app. And this Wednesday, I am on Instagram, and so I'll be hosting that. It happens at 12:30 on Wednesdays over at the Gardeners Workshop Farm. And remember to meet us back here next Friday for the live shopping show. And next week's theme is, the theme is direct sowing versus indoor seed starting. Which to choose? That's a great topic. I get asked that all the time. And friends, I don't know where my drawing card went to. Here it is. So it is time to pick a lucky winner. And I hope you're here. And our winner is Carol Pratt. Carol, if you're here, give us a shout out and the girls will drop a $25 credit right into your cart, right? What a great day to buy a Swift blocker, right? If you have a need for it. And so that is our winner today, and congratulations. Sorry, y'all, my nose is itching. I thought having Suzanne sift would help with that. That's a little allergic reaction. All right, so let's look at some questions here. All right, have you ever used the 2-inch block for corn? That's a great question because we grow sweet corn. I definitely start corn indoors so I can have it in the ground at the very first earliest date to help beat pests. But we actually started in the 128 plug trays because we start so much. I mean, we start 3 trays, which is like, 400 plants or something? But definitely the 2-inch blocker would work for sure if you're not planting a whole lot of it. Even the Swift 27 would work great for that too. I'm in Texas. Can I plant more snapdragons from seed now or need to wait for cooler weather again? So there's 2 sides to this answer.
Carol's here.
Oh, Carol's here. Carol, congratulations for winning the $25 store credit. The girls are literally dropping 25 smackers right into your cart as I'm telling you this. So congratulations. Thank you so much for participating. All right.
She says, thank you. I'm here and so excited. Your show has helped me grow and sell flowers.
Oh, awesome. Carol, I'm so glad to hear that. Thank you so much. We work so hard all the time, as everybody does in their job, right? But when we get those little gems from people hearing that kind of stuff, it just makes us know that we're going the right path. And thank you, Carol, for that. So the snapdragon question in heat. There are definitely snapdragon varieties in group 3 and 4 that will bloom during the long days of summer. However, those of us that live in hot, humid, better known as Texas and Virginia, hot and humid summers, we could grow snapdragons in these conditions, but mine fall victim to disease almost instantly, and they just never grow quite tall enough. So I choose not to do it. And you should do the same, you should be fall planting snapdragons. And friends, my book, the Cut Flower Handbook, literally a big part of that book is designated to helping you figure out for where you live, when do I plant cool season and when do I plant warm season? And when you conquer that And then that's the first question you ask about every plant you meet. Is it a cool or a warm? And you'll know exactly when you're supposed to plant it. I mean, it's like it'll open the dam for you. So check that out. Does status do well planted closely? I guess that depends on what you consider closely. We plant everything close because we're flower farmers. We plant status transplants in the fall and in very early spring. And my beds are 30 inches wide, and I put 4 rows, so they're evenly spaced out. Then they're 6 inches apart in the row. And literally, I love status for this. When we plant it like that, because you know, it grows flat leaves and then shoots up stems, right? Those leaves totally cover the bed top. It's like one of the plants that totally mulches itself. Will dumping last summer's used non-organic potting soil from containers from the Blue Liquid Company damage garden soil? You've been hanging out with me too long. No, I think you're all right. You know, I mean, to dump it out in the garden, it's just not, I don't know what's in it, so I can't really say. So I think you're perfectly fine to dump it out in your big garden space. And of course, in containers, that would work. Do any flowers deter pill bugs, roly-polies? They eat everything. Are you sure? You sure that's them? I mean, but of course, pill bugs and roly-polies are perhaps a regional name. That's really not the name of the bug. So I would do this. I would first get 100% good identification. Do you know about the free phone app called Seek, S-E-E-K, by iNaturalist? You can download it on your phone, go out there and get an up close in the app picture of that bug, and it'll tell you exactly what it is. Then you can get a good definition. But I will tell you that of the million insects in the world, species, less than 1% actually damage or kill plants. So roly-polies around here are great soil workers. We don't mind them at all. So figure that out. Do zinnia seeds need to go under the grow light after they have been put into soil blocks, or do they need darkness to germinate? What a great question. So the way you're providing darkness to that zinnia seed, sounds like a helicopter's landing in my yard, y'all. Possible. It's happened. Literally, that was one of my ploys to get a date with my husband. Honestly, he's hovering above. There used to be a horse pasture next door to us. Unfortunately, now it's houses. But literally, because we're surrounded by military bases, a helicopter crash landed in the pasture, like right next to Steve's house. It was really amazing, but it was cool because since this was Steve's house, I got to come through the line and go to his house and see it all up close. Anyway, all right. So zinnia seeds, the way that we plant them are, you know, it's a little pointy seed, same for cosmos, same for marigolds. And I start them all in the small blocks, by the way, y'all, small blocker. You put the pointy in, either one, push it into the block. And the tail is still sticking out. The darkness is provided to the part that's down in the block. So it doesn't, you put them on a ceiling heat mat and they're in just light, like ambient light, like in a room like this. Then once they start to germinate, we move them from the heat mat over to the grow light because they will quickly get stretched. Sometimes water doesn't get between my blocks. Sorry, y'all, my nose is killing me. Any tips? Yes. So a big part of when I'm soil blocking with the blockers is I'm being sure to leave little channels not between the blocks in a cluster, but between the clusters, and you shouldn't have any problem. And that also can depend on what soil mix you're using. If you're not using standard blocking mix, which really binds together, which doesn't fall apart when you water them, that can actually help also. So that can make a really big difference. But you just need to take a minute and figure out, I know when I look at a tray, I put all the blocks to one side or the other, and then leave channels between the clusters, and that way water freely flows. Can you explain what foliar feed is and how often you would do it in seedling stage or any stage of life? So I don't foliar feed when they're seedlings indoors. They get all their food on Mondays, I had to think. in the watering that they're absorbed through the blocks. Foliar feeding is something that works. I believe it makes bionic plants, but we just don't have time to do it like we would want to. So you would follow the directions on whatever it is that you're using to foliar feed. If you're doing compost tea, which is really a great one to use because it typically doesn't have any odor, you could do that every couple of weeks, but it's what do you have time to do? And so I think a great time to do it is after you've planted and they're just getting established. Because I'll tell you a secret. I made friends with a guy that was starting what's turned out to be a really big company, organic lawn care company. And you know what their secret weapon is for sowing seeds on lawns? Is after they sow the seeds, they spray the lawn with compost tea. And he said that does more for germination, so you can actually spray your blocks as well. There's a lot of things you can do, but we don't do it because we just don't have time. I had 0 germination with my cress. Any tips? So cress is a cool season plant, cool season hardy annual. And almost always, when you have poor germination or no germination of an actual crop, it's almost always temperature related, whether it's you don't have them on a heat mat or you have them on a heat mat and it's too hot or the air temperature is wrong. So I don't remember whether cress has to be covered or not, the seed, but I would guess you're looking for 65-degree air temperatures and a little bit warmer soil, and that's what our secret is to starting it. After my seeds sprout, how long do I leave on the heat mat? So that's a great question too. So in general, you're looking for about 50% germination to happen to move the tray from the heat mat over to the grow light. And so if it's soil blocks, I'll look at a tray of 100 soil blocks. I'll just pick 20 of the clusters, 20 of the blocks, and count that cluster. How many, if 10 or more of those blocks show any signs of life, I move them from the heat mat, the whole tray, over to the grow light. All right, one last one and we're done. For sunflowers or any flowers, I am only cutting once a week because we only sell on Saturdays. That's a big problem if you're a flower farmer, but I would like to know if it is better to cut sunflowers twice a week. I don't have a fridge room yet, just a cool, dark room. So which is better if a flower is ready to cut, leave it in the garden or cut it? I understand your dilemma completely. I didn't have a cooler for 8 years. So you know what your simplest solution is? You need to find an outlet for your flowers the first of the week. I just can't even tell you how much more work it's going to cause you, and old flowers. And so you need to find a bouquet subscriptions where it's at. That's one of the things we talk about in flower farming school, y'all, is you're dealing with a problem that wouldn't be a problem if you were addressing the part of the business that is the most important before that you get this problem that's actually going to start happening for you. So, leaving them out they age quicker out in the garden than they do indoors. But that's all I can pretty much say about that. I would never cut flowers on the first of the week to never sell them till the end of the week. They're already half old by the time you sell them, you know what I mean? But I'm a strong believer in not sitting on flowers. That's why I have so many outlets to sell throughout all the years of our business. So that's the answer to that, and I'm sorry it's not better, but that would be the easy thing. Can you not sell 10 or 15 bouquet subscriptions on Mondays, businesses, to drop those, make bouquets and drop them off, not to mention all the bucks you'd be dragging in, but that'll fix your problem. All right, friends, we're going to sign off, and thank you all so much for joining me. Remember that the deal of the days are available, which is the soil making
kit, right?
Make your own soil. None of us can get the name right. And the Swift blocker. That deal is available until Sunday at 8 a.m. You can shop here in the app anytime, and we appreciate you supporting our small business.